Earlier this afternoon, I watched Southampton get promoted back up to the Premier League at the first time of asking. Now, in the Saints midfield is a familiar face, a certain Flynn Downs, the number 4 for Southampton. And believe me, he has been one hell of a signing for the Saints this season. He's been hugely impressive throughout the entirety of the season, and just a couple of illnesses and injuries have stopped him playing the maximum amount of games, and he's been massively missed in those games that he was sidelined. And I mean, there's statistics out there that indicate how important he has been to Southampton this season, and maybe ifs and buts and hypotheticals, of course, but if he didn't have those illnesses and injuries, perhaps Southampton could have pushed for an automatic promotion spot in the Championship. That's how crucial he has been for Southampton this season. A really successful loan for West Ham. He wasn't getting the game time under David Moyes that he desired for, and he wanted to be playing first team football, and you can't blame the lad for wanting that. Absolutely 25 years of age, reaching the peak of his career. He didn't want to spend it sat on the bench. I know West Ham's his boyhood club, but he still wanted to be playing football. And I think this loan was a perfect fit. Southampton were always going to be decent. They're always going to succeed this season in terms of being up and around the top of the table, and that's what's happened. And he's been a fantastic addition to their midfield. All you've got to do is go and ask some Southampton fans about the importance and imperativeness of Flynn Downs, of how brilliant he has been. And really, all you've got to do is watch that game this afternoon. Now, I haven't watched a great deal of Championship football this season. I've watched Southampton on the odd occasion. But, I mean, I watched them this afternoon, and Flynn Downs, I mean, he reminded me of Declan Rice. Not only the way he blocked and intercepted and mopped up in front of the back line, but the way on a couple of occasions that he drove forward as well into the Leeds half and you know, sprayed the ball left and right and through the middle and made dangerous runs and through balls and really affected the game in pretty much every capacity. And I thought Southampton dominated the midfield. They had an extra man in there because they played a 4-3-3 compared to Leeds. But I thought Flynn Downs was excellent. I thought he was neat and tidy. He did the non-negotiables right, and he really impressed. And I could see why Southampton fans have been waxing lyrical about him all season. And now begs the question of course, I've seen it already on social media. Southampton fans are practically begging Flynn Downs to come and sign on a permanent basis for Southampton this summer. Now, this is the conundrum now. I suppose to an extent it's in West Ham's hands, but then again, if the player wants to go, the player wants to go. So you've got to weigh up all equations, and all sort of parties have got to be in with this here. The situation we've got is we've got a player that would be a really, really good addition, it would feel like, to our squad next season. Our midfield has been faltering towards the back end of the season. I think adding Flynn Downs in to the moulds could really benefit us going forward next season. If Julian Lopetegui likes him and is on board with getting him back to West Ham, then let's go all out and say, look, Flynn, we want you to stay, and just give him the opportunity, give him the choice. Because if he wants to go and move permanently to Southampton, we can't stop him. Otherwise, we're then going down a route of really, really murky waters of a player. We're forcing a player to stay when he wants to go. We just don't want to be in that situation, really, do we? You can see he's had a fantastic season. He's enjoying it. You saw the celebrations and just the way he is. You can tell he's benefiting from the loan spell. And really, the way he's acting is probably indicating that he wants a permanent move to Southampton. And look, if he does go permanently, and if we get 15 million quid, I don't know, for him, then it's all our own fault for letting him go in the first place. To be honest, Flynn Downs left, and we were left with barely a midfield this season. And we've signed Calvin Phillips. He was brilliant, wasn't he? We could have done with Flynn Downs this season, especially from January onwards. We could have really done with his, with his quality in midfield, that quality that Phillips just utterly lacks, or has lacked in claret and blue. He could have been such a valuable asset to us this season, Flynn Downs, and he would have, to the majority, yes, he would have been a squad player, but he would have got Premier League opportunities as well. Because if you've got that player there to push the likes of Ward-Prowse and Souček, who have been average all season, if we're being totally honest, then Flynn Downs' opportunity would have come. There would have come a time where Moyes went, right, okay, let's give Flynn a go. But We let him go. It was sloppy business once again from our perspective. From him, brilliant. For that, for Downs, fantastic. But from a purely West Ham point of view, it was a ludicrous piece of business to let go a player in a midfield area where we were a little bit light in midfield anyway. But to let go Flynn Downs in the summer or whenever he went on loan, and then in January to bring in Calvin Phillips, who was crap, right? So that didn't really, solve anything, did it? We were light in midfield anyway, so we brought in Phillips to fix it, and he didn't make any difference whatsoever. And I think we could really do with Flynn Downs back in midfield, and that's probably not what Southampton fans want to hear, because I think we're going to try and convince him to stay next summer. And if his mind is fixated on Southampton and he wants to move permanently, then by all means, you've got to let the lad go. He's done nothing wrong to us. He's a boy of West Ham fan, and if he wants to probably progress his career, unless Julian Lopetegui can guarantee first team football for Flynn Downs, I think that changes the complexion of it slightly. But if there can't be any guarantees, which that's probably the case, then I can't blame him for wanting to go to Southampton, because why wouldn't he? He had a fantastic season down there. He's pretty much helped them get promoted, and he's got an opportunity to be back in the Premier League with them, and he'll be one of the first names on the team sheet. You can't blame him for wanting to go. Absolutely. That's not even in the equation here. It's more about the West Ham point of view. Is what can we tell Flynn Downs to convince him to stay at West Ham United this summer? Because we could probably get the money we got for him, and it's wasted talent then for me. It's wasted talent that we haven't utilised to the best of our ability. We haven't got the best out of him in a West Ham shirt, which is quite clearly, he's got the Southampton. Russell Martin has quite clearly got the best out of him down at Southampton. And I say fair play. And hopefully, obviously, with them being promoted, that strengthens the chance of him wanting to go down there. If we're honest, Premier League football, really, when you weigh it up, probably the wise move for him is to go to Southampton to progress his career. He's either got Premier League football at Southampton, one of the first names on a team sheet, or maybe Premier League football at his boyhood club, West Ham. He's got to weigh up, and he's got a huge decision to make, which is massively going to dictate his, the progression of his career. It's a risk staying at West Ham, I think, but it's a risk that could pay off more pertinently, because if we're being totally honest, West Ham are in a better place position to maybe get back into European football, to be in the top half of the table, and to be playing better quality Premier League football next season. I think all three clubs that are coming up from the Championship will be in a relegation battle next season. If Flynn Downs wants to sign himself up for that, I say fair play to him. You crack on. Good for you. He's not had any attitude issues at West Ham. He's never done a particularly bad thing at West Ham, and we can't stand in his way if he wants to move. But that's the situation we see. Look, for me, if it was up to me, I'd 100% be trying to convince him to come back to West Ham and try again. But you can't blame him if he wants to move, if you're totally honest. What's your thoughts on this? Put it in the comment section down below. If we've got a few Southampton fans watching this, chuck into the comment section your thoughts on Flynn Downs this season. Just how good has he been in the red and white stripes? That's it from me. Thank you very much for watching. Come on, your irons, and I'll see you soon right here on West Ham Official. Flynn Downs promoted with Southampton. Will he stay at Southampton? Will he come back to West Ham? Only time will tell. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.